We're just going to show you how to make a really easy, quick fish and chips at home, but we're also going to knock up a quick little cheat in tartar sauce. And I've got some mushy peas here. Now they are out of a tin, but I'm just going to add a little bit more zing to them just to make your fish and chips a little bit sexier. So first job I want to do is I want to get my beer batter made. So I'm going to use Ilkley Brewery, double IPA. I think it's double IPA. It's punchy anyway. And some self-raising flour. Pour your beer into a bowl. There's loads of different ways to do this. There's fancy ways to do this, like putting it into like a siphon gun and making it all super fancy, but this is just to do at home. Put your beer in the bowl first and then just add your flour bit by bit. It's probably going to be around 150 grams. And then once this batter's made, we want to get it in the fridge and cool it right down, because what we want to happen is when the batter hits that hot oil, we want it to just seize up and go really crispy and crunchy. That's the kind of consistency that you're looking for. So it's like, I guess, double cream. Right, so that goes in the fridge. Now we have got a recipe on the website for triple cooked chips, but I'm going to cut these a little bit thinner and I'm just going to double fry them. So I'll fry them on a low heat and then I'll fry them on a high heat. And I'm also going to keep the skins on. I just think it adds a nice flavour. So I'm going to cut them a bit thinner. I'm just going to put these chips into some cold water just to wash some of that starch off them. Now I've just got some nice cod loins here from the supermarket. We're going to use a bit of salt, and what this will do is it'll just draw any of that excess moisture out, which means it'll keep it nice and flaky and it won't go soggy. So I'm going to pop that in the fridge and just let that do its thing, draw a bit of that moisture out. Our chips look like they're ready for the first batch. So I'm going to do what's called a gastric. So sherry vinegar or red wine vinegar. So that's going to go in there. Some sugar, same amount in volume, and then that's going to go on the heat, and we're just going to bring that up to temperature. And then mint jelly. Just gonna mint and peas, goes nice together. You can use fresh mint if you want. We don't have the luxury of a garden at the studio, otherwise I would. Once that's done, we're going to mix that with the peas, get some mint jelly in there, then the peas are done. We can warm them up. And then we need to get making our tartar sauce. Just going to peel the shallots. I'm going to dice these shallots really fine. So do it in stages. So get all your strips to that first stage where they're all, this is what we call julienne. And then when we've got it to that stage, we want to cut it into a dice, a nice fine dice. So we're going from julienne to brunoise. Right, that's where we want that to go to. Shallot into a bowl. Then we'll get these baby capers. I'm just going to roughly chop these. They go in. And then we'll have some organic capers. And then again, you just want to run a knife through it. That's that in there. And then I've got some homemade mayonnaise in the fridge. There's a recipe for mayonnaise on the website. You don't want to be putting yourself under that pressure, doing mayonnaise and this, and this, and this, and that. So just pop that into the bowl. We can use this again to pour it back into. So we're making enough for like 3 or 4 portions here. You can make loads if you want to make loads. The supermarkets sell it, but it's just not great. A little pinch of salt and a nice twist of black pepper. What we'll do is we'll pop that back into that little mayonnaise bowl. Get in the fridge to chill until we're ready to go. We've got our sugar and vinegar mix. I'm literally going to pour the peas into that pan. And then just give that a stir. And just for a little bit more, I've got a little bit of mint jelly here. So stir that through. Okay, so that's the first cook of the chips, about 130 degrees. So I'm just gonna let those sit for a minute. Well, they look a bit soggy and a bit flobby right now, but once the fryer's up full and they get nice and brown and crispy, they'll be amazing. So I'm gonna turn the fryer up full, do some chips, get them in the oven to crisp up even more, then we'll get our fish in, then we're nearly ready to start plating. Here is my fish, salted fish. Because we're working with a small fryer, we're just gonna cut them a little bit smaller. Normally you'd cut that into 2 and have 2 big nice chunky pieces. So we'll probably do, just do almost like goujons. It's very important that you coat your fish with flour before putting it into the batter. What that does is, It helps the batter stick to the fish. Otherwise, if you think it's just wet batter onto wet fish, it's just going to fall off in the fryer and it's going to be no good. Fish into the batter. See, it's firmed up really nice. And this should take, when the batter goes brown, the fish should be cooked. So you're probably looking at about 3 or 4 minutes. Just a lot in there so we get some scraps. And then lay it away from you in the fat so it doesn't splash. Chips are done, fish is done. Just skinny chip. There's nothing sort of uniform about this. It's all a bit sort of off-piste. There's the can of pop opening, ready for the fish and chip feast. Salt, chips, fish. There's delicious mushy peas that have taken on that nice dark colour. That mint has distributed throughout them. I'm really happy with that. I think that looks delicious. Recipes on the website, give it a go. It's super, super easy. And cheap as well. Really, really cheap. You don't have to use cod. Any fish that you want, frozen fish is good, just make sure you defrost it. Give it a try. Thanks for watching.